You ever have one of those nights where you're on top of the world, but still feel like something's missing, even if you can't put your finger on it? That was me, Christopher Langston, staring out the window of my penthouse office 45 floors up half the city at my feet, or so it seemed. My company, my name, plastered all over those billboards, those glass Towers Langston Enterprises worth billions. They call me America's most eligible bachelor, like that was some kind of prize. But truth is, most nights felt empty, meetings stacked on meetings, fancy dinners with people who only wanted to talk numbers, not life. I'd gotten used to telling myself I liked it this way, all business, no mess. So when Barbara, my assistant of 15 years, poked her head in to remind me about my dinner reservation and handed me a letter from Carter, an associate as me heart about jumped out of my chest. Just put on the desk, I told her, acting cool. But inside, man, I was rattled. Carter. Jasmine Carter. My ex-wife. The woman who knew every secret I ever had and probably still remembered my favorite way to take my coffee black. 2 sugars, never stirred. Memories hit me like a punch. Our tiny apartment. The way she'd laugh when the coffee overflowed. The fights that started small but turned into full-blown storms. The day she left with tears in her eyes, saying she couldn't compete with my need to win. I shoved the letter in my drawer, had a dinner to get to, after all, with board members who laughed at jokes about stocks and profits, and who probably couldn't tell you the first thing about love or loss. But then, 3 tables over, there she was, Jasmine, with her smile unchanged, sitting with someone I couldn't see and 3 kids. 3 laughing, chattering kids, 2 girls and a boy, all about 5 years old. They had her smile, but those eyes, that tilted the chin, they stopped me cold. There's a math problem. Even a billionaire can't ignore 5 years since the divorce, 6 since I saw Jasmine last. Those kids, could they be? I was halfway to her table before I even knew I'd left my seat. She looked up, laughter dying on her lips, her voice calm, careful. Chris. I asked if they were hers, couldn't even finish the sentence. They're mine, she said, her face hardening. Mommy, who's that? One of the girls piped up. Jasmine's eyes never left mine as she told them I was someone she used to know. Man, my legs almost gave out. I needed answers. Why hadn't she told me? She said she tried, called, wrote, but my old assistant turned her away. That's what a closed door looks like, I guess. Would it have made a difference? Jasmine asked me. I didn't have an answer. Before I could even catch my breath, her kids were tugging at her for dessert, and she handed me her card. Call my office tomorrow. Not for us, but for them, if you're serious about being someone besides yourself. That night, I barely slept. Next morning, I confronted Barbara. Did Jasmine try to reach me? Her eyes said it all before she even opened her mouth. Yeah, she did, but my old assistant blocked every message. I spent years burying my pain and work, and now I found out I'd also buried the only real chance at family I'd ever had. By 1 o'clock, I was outside Jasmine's law office, modest place, full of character, nothing like my sterile headquarters. She greeted me with that same wary calm. I told her I knew about the letters, the calls. Did it matter now? She wanted to know. I told her it did. We talked about the kids, about the years, about choices. She pulled out a photo album, and for the first time I saw my kids, Mia, the artist, Sophie, the little scientist, James, the joker. First steps, first words, first everything. I'd missed it all. They've asked about their father, Jasmine told me. She'd never lied, told them he was someone she loved who had to go away. Now they're asking harder questions. I told her to tell them the truth. Their father was a fool, but he wants to make it right. She wasn't sure that was enough. What happens when the next big deal comes along? She pressed. I promised her and myself things were going to be different. A week later, I was at their school play, sitting where Jasmine told me to, 3rd row, left side. I'd missed 3 meetings and $1 million deal for, and you know what? I didn't regret a thing. I was just another face in the crowd, but watching Mia on stage as the smart pig with bricks, hearing Sophie and James cheer her on, I felt a hope I hadn't known since I was a kid. After the play, Jasmine let me send anonymous gifts, art supplies, science kits, soccer balls. We started meeting for coffee, talking about the kids, their allergies, their quirks, their dreams. Slowly, she let me in. They need consistency, she said. I told her I was rearranging everything. Let the board object tide, given them enough. The first real meeting at the park was nerve-wracking grain threatening. My mom calling to ask why I'd canceled a $100 million deal. When she found out about the kids, she threatened lawsuits. But for once, I stood my ground. These were my children, and nobody, not even the Langston legacy, was going to take them from me. Meeting the triplets face-to-face was like looking in a mirror and seeing the life I could have had if I hadn't been so blind. They asked tough questions. Why wasn't I there? Did I have other kids? I told them the truth. I'd been foolish. And then the real twist-me parents crashing the park, demanding custody. Jasmine stood her ground. So did I. You will not speak to Jasmine that way, I said, and meant it. For the first time in my life, I put my family first. After that day, things changed. I bought a house 10 minutes from Jasmine's, gave each kid their own room, decorated the walls in their favorite colors. The first overnight visit was chaos pizza everywhere, blanket forts in the living room, stories about stars and space and soccer dreams. I realized being a dad wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present. That's what success meant now. We had bumps Mia's asthma attack, sent us racing to the hospital one night. Fear in Jasmine's eyes, guilt in mine. I promised Jasmine we'd handle it all as a team. When Mia got better, I set up an art studio for her breathing treatments, telescope for Sophie, soccer nook for James. We talked about merging houses, creating 2 spaces on the same property, 1 family. 2 homes, no pressure, just whatever was best for the kids. Jasmine agreed, let's try it for them. Even my parents changed. My mother started baking cookies with Mia every week. My dad never missed James' games. Barbara, my loyal assistant, became more like family than staff. I started passing down more responsibility at work, showing up for science fairs, soccer games, parent-teacher nights. We were different, not a perfect nuclear family, but our own kind of normal. You want to know the real secret? The money, the empire, the headlines, they stopped matching the night, I heard Mia say. We're 3 stars, Daddy, and you're the big one. It broke me and put me back together at the same time. I was finally someone worth coming home to. A year later, we celebrated the triplets' birthday at the same restaurant where this story began. No business talk, just cake, balloons, laughter, 3 kids who knew they were loved, a family stronger than any company I ever built. We made it official that hyphenated last names, Carter Langston, so every part of them was honored. You know, people still ask if I regret stepping back from the empire. But watching my kids dance in the restaurant garden, lights flickering overhead, Jasmine smiling beside me, my parents holding hands like kids again, I know the answer. I found my fortune right here in late-night forts, muddy soccer fields, and crayon drawings pinned above my desk. Real success, real family, it's not always perfect, but it's ours. And that's my story. But what about you? What do you think the line is between work and family, between ambition and love? Can you have both, or do you always have to choose? I'd love to hear what you think, so share your thoughts below. Tell me, what does success mean to you? Because at the end of the day, maybe that's the only story that really matters.